Okay,
Yes.
so what I really want to talk about now is the OnePlus new announcement, the 6T. Now,
Yes.
you had already told us, I think last week, that this is switching to the 29th of October.
That's correct.
So, yeah, let's just talk a little bit about what's to be expected.
So, in typical OnePlus fashion, there is so much that gets leaked in advance. Now, that's on purpose. And Carl Pei, who is one of the co-founders of OnePlus, totally admits it. In fact, he's the reason why we know so much about the OnePlus 6T that's coming out. And there were some really interesting leaks that came out literally before we started recording this. I found an article that was 15 minutes fresh, and it talked about a German website that accidentally posted it in advance, and we got another little bit of information. We thought we knew everything about the 6T, but according to this website, if you can believe it, there's going to be expandable memory. So you could put an SD card in it.
I love that.
I love it too. I love it with my Samsung device. I've used it in the past, and this will be a first for OnePlus. So if this ends
Wait a
out being
minute.
true,
Do you have an S9
I do. I have an S9 Plus.
and it has expandable memory?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah, they all do right now. The S9, the S9 Plus, the Note 9, and fingers crossed, the 10 that comes out in the spring will
February.
also.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into what we think is going to be announced. So the big news is the under fingerprint scanner. So this is going to be the first that's going to be commercially available in the United States. There are a few that have already beat others to, or OnePlus to the punch. I believe there's some Xiaomi phones, but basically these are phones that are not commercially available outside of China. There might even be one in India, but it's the first generation of Synaptic's under the screen fingerprint reader. It's an optical reader. It takes a picture of your fingerprint and compares it to what it's got stored. Very similar, actually, to fingerprint readers that you have regularly that you just touch on the back or the side of your phone. However, it's slow. So the first gen is slow. What's making this pretty exciting is this is the second gen fingerprint reader, and those people who have played around with this OnePlus 6T say it's so much faster. It's just as fast, they claim, as using a regular fingerprint reader on the back or the front of your phone. So
That's
I'm looking
amazing.
forward to seeing that. That sounds pretty cool. We also know from a box that appeared to have been leaked, and this was like a month ago, that it's going to have a very tiny notch. So the OnePlus 6 has a notch, and it's pretty minimal when you compare it to the iPhone 10s with their giant notches that take up 3/4, if not more, of that top. So it's just a little teardrop notch, and it's just big enough for a camera. So that's it. And it looks pretty minimal. I like it. It means it's going to be frustrating for you to program more apps for a tiny notch
Why?
instead of a big notch. Just keep that part of the screen empty. That's all I can
You have a
suggest.
black bar on the top of all of my screens.
Yeah, yeah. So other things that have been leaked. Oh, here's some bad leaks. You can still have bad leaks. It looks like OnePlus is getting rid of the headphone jack.
Oh,
Uh, Lots
that's
of people
weird.
have done that.
But
Yeah,
they seem like the kind of company that's like anti-Apple. You know, they've got their memory expansion, they've got their fingerprint scanner in the screen instead of
yeah.
it just it's bizarre that they would get rid of the headphone jack.
Well, this is what's interesting is Carl Pei says he says we are a company that listens to our customers. That's what he claims. And so he says, "We sent out a poll and you the customer said, you don't care about the headphone jack."
Look at us both right now. We're both using headphones that plug into a jack. Am I
Yes,
right?
we are. We are headphone jack users.
Give me
We
the
love it.
headphone jack. Yeah.
So, anyways, Carl Pei says 59% of OnePlus customers already have wireless headphones. And of course, expect that he's going to release some new OnePlus headphones that will be Bluetooth headphones. Apparently, there's going to be a dongle, and Carl Pei also says you can always buy USB-C headphones. Yeah, Carl, but I can't charge my phone at the same time. I
Good
think
point.
that's the biggest frustration is you can't charge your phone at the same time using a dongle or USB-C headphones. And, if you're using wireless headphones, you're draining batteries there too. So, oh well.
Well, here's the thing. I know I'm like from the 90s still, but I actually plug my phone into the auxiliary port in my car. And I
Yeah.
want it to charge while I'm driving too. Come on,
Yes.
guys.
You
Keep
can't do
keep the
that.
iPhone jack. That's so annoying.
Yeah. Unless you have wireless charging, so maybe that can happen. But in any case, so here's some of the pros of why Carl Pay does it. He says it gives us more internal space. So specifically, you can have a bigger battery because you're removing some hardware out of the phone.
Do you remember when Apple said that though? They said that the battery is so much bigger because of the space, and then you actually crack open the phone and it's just
It's
an
the
empty
same.
space. It's
It's
an empty
exactly the
space.
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea. Well, and then the other thing is, and this is true, is it makes it easier to waterproof
I'll
the
give you
phone,
that. Yeah,
right?
I'll give
It's
you
it's
that.
another opening that doesn't let anything in. So that's good. But I gotta tell you, I love my headphones. I got Bose headphones. They stay in my ear when I'm at the gym. They're good phones. They got beautiful sound. So, anyways, that's frustrating. But other things about the phone, it will be released on T-Mobile's 600 megahertz spectrum. So
Cool.
that's a brand new spectrum that T-Mobile is unlocking. And by the way, if you want to use it on Verizon, don't worry and say, "Oh, Verizon doesn't have the 600 megahertz spectrum." It's okay because their phones work on Verizon just fine as well. All their phones come unlocked. I'm sure even if you get it on T-Mobile, it should come unlocked. I don't know for sure. We'll find out, but you should be able to unlock it anyways and use it on Verizon.
Well, I love the price point. I was looking at your article and it made me dance with glee because that's about
Yeah.
how much I want to pay for a cell phone.
Yeah, so $650 to $670. I saw some rumors that it's going to go back to the 500 to 550 to 560, but it just doesn't seem likely, especially comparing the prices of the last OnePlus 6. So, yeah, expect it around 650, 670, and you're going to have some kind of waterproofing, especially now that the headphone jack's gone. Let's see if they get wireless charging. That's one thing that was missing from the last one. They do have NFC that came in on the OnePlus 5. So really the only thing that we're missing right now is wireless charging, and you get all those great internals. Remember, this is going to come with a Snapdragon, the latest Snapdragon, what is it, the 845 that's out this year. So
Dang.
you're going to get some really good specs with this phone. That's why they call it a flagship killer. And it has been a flagship killer since it came out.
Well, it's going to be literally half the price of all the other flagships.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if they keep going up. I mean, wasn't there a phone we were talking about last week where it was like $1,200?
Yes. Yes.
And we were like, whoa. So this is literally half the price of that.
Well, here's the thing about OnePlus, right? Is it's awesome for the emerging markets like India and China because in
Yeah.
those locations, people do have more money now, but they don't want to pay 1200 US for a phone. You'll find that OnePlus is huge in India and Asia, and
Yes.
because it's a better price point. I mean, here you and me, I mean, I would prefer to buy it over something $1,000 from Samsung, but I mean, it's going to be huge over there.
And I bought two OnePlus phones. I love OnePlus. The only reason why I got a Samsung phone right now is it was a pretty sweet deal trade-in that worked well with the plan that I had. And I was so close to buying a OnePlus 6. And I got to tell you, I wasn't excited about the notch. Now I look at this and it's even less of a notch. It's looking pretty exciting.